Hello students, welcome to Science Learning Gateway. Today we'll start class 10th NCERT chapter number 6 light processes. This chapter nearly carries 5 to 6 marks for your board exams. A very important chapter for your exam point of view. This chapter is little lengthy but it's interesting. We'll read about the light processes. What are the different activities which are going on in living organisms? Those things we'll read in this chapter. Let's have a quick look on the topics which we have to read in this chapter. About life processes we'll read nutrition, respiration, transportation and excretion. These topics we'll read in this chapter. Okay, so let's start this chapter. Okay, the first topic of this chapter is what is a life process. What do we understand by the life process? The activities which are going on in living organism and which are necessary for its survival and its maintenance, etc., are called life processes. The basic functions performed by living organism for their survival and body maintenance are called life processes. Every organism need to survive. Okay, so what are the activities, what are the functions required in an organism, and the and the activities which are required for their survival, how they will survive and how they will maintain their body, those processes are called life processes. So these are the different activities which are going on in our body: nutrition, respiration, transportation, excretion, growth and reproduction are different life processes. Okay, these are the different types of life processes. First we'll read about the first life process, that is nutrition. So what is nutrition? It is a process in which organisms take up nutrients in the form of food, digests, absorbs and transports and utilizes the nutrients and remove the waste product. Means nutrition is a process in which an organism takes up the nutrient, means in the form of food we used to take the food and utilize it, means we have to absorb that food, we have to utilize in our body for different activities, and again we used to throw the waste material from our body. This is called nutrition. Next topic is mode of nutrition. In living organism, there are two modes of nutrition: autotrophic nutrition and heterotrophic nutrition. We'll discuss this in detail. What is autotrophic and what is heterotrophic nutrition? Autotrophic nutrition. What do we understand by autotrophic nutrition? In autotrophic nutrition, an organism prepares its own food by the process of photosynthesis. What are the examples of autotrophic nutrition? Green plants. Okay, green plants, we don't have to give food to green plants or the any living plants. Okay, they used to prepare their own food by which process? By the help of photosynthesis. The organism which can prepare its own food are called autotrophs. Sometime for 1 marks question you can get this question: what are autotrophs? So what you'll write: the organism which can prepare its own food by the process of photosynthesis are called autotrophs. Example, you can write green plants. Autotrophs use simple inorganic molecule like carbon dioxide, water and convert it into simple high energy molecule carbohydrate. So what these green plants do? They used to take the carbon dioxide and water from the atmosphere and they used to convert this carbon dioxide and water into carbohydrates. Autotrophic nutrition is fulfilled by a process called photosynthesis. Okay, this is a very important process with the help of which the living organism can make food. Without this process, the green plants cannot make its food. Now let's have a look on the definition of photosynthesis. So you all have read the definition of photosynthesis in your junior classes. Photosynthesis is a process by which green plants take in carbon dioxide, water and convert these into carbohydrates in the presence of sunlight and chlorophyll. Very easy definition which we have read in our junior classes also. It is a process by which green plants take in carbon dioxide and water and convert it into carbohydrates in the presence of what? Sunlight and chlorophyll. Now we'll see the equation of photosynthesis. Okay, this is important. In your exam you can write the equation of photosynthesis. Now have a look on the equation of photosynthesis. 6CO2 plus 6H2O, they will combine in the presence of sunlight and chlorophyll and they will give what? C6H12O6 plus 6O2. Means carbon dioxide and water will combine in the presence of sunlight and chlorophyll to give glucose. What is the formula of glucose? C6H12O6, and oxygen also will get. So green plant take in carbon dioxide and they give us oxygen. Now we'll have a look on the raw materials needed for photosynthesis. What does those green plants need to make their food? These are the raw materials. Okay, sunlight, chlorophyll, water, and carbon dioxide. These are the raw materials needed by green plant to make their food. Site of photosynthesis. Where does this photosynthesis take place in green plant? Some cell contains green pigment, which are cell organelles called chloroplasts, which contain chlorophyll. Photosynthesis take place in chloroplasts. We all know that green plants, why they can make its own food? Because they contain chlorophyll, green color pigment called chlorophyll, because of which they can make their own food, because chlorophyll can trap those solar energy, with the help of which they can prepare their food. So these chlorophyll, they are present in chloroplast, and inside the chloroplast this photosynthesis takes place. This is the diagram of a cross section of a leaf. Okay, in this we have phloem, xylem, vascular tubules, chloroplasts are there, air spaces are there, guard cells, stomata, these things are there. Lower epidermis, we have upper epidermis, waxy cuticle layer, lamina, leaf lamina, veins, and matrix. This diagram you can get for your exam. You have to practice this diagram. Next, we'll see the main events of photosynthesis. What are the different steps which take place during photosynthesis? This is very important question. For your 5 marks question, they can give you this types of question. Write the main event of photosynthesis. So, our first step is absorption of light energy by chlorophyll. What does those green plant do? They used to absorb the light energy, sunlight, by the help of what? Chlorophyll. Second step is conversion of light energy to chemical energy. Means light energy is converted into which energy? Chemical energy. And splitting of water molecules into hydrogen and oxygen. Splitting of water molecules means water molecule H2O, it will break into hydrogen and oxygen. It will break into hydrogen and oxygen. Okay, splitting of water molecules means water will break into hydrogen and oxygen. And the third step is reduction of carbon dioxide to carbohydrates. Means carbon dioxide will change or reduce into carbohydrates, means into glucose. So these are the 3 events of photosynthesis. First one is absorption of light energy by chlorophyll. Second one is conversion of light energy to chemical energy and splitting of water molecule into hydrogen and oxygen. And the third step is reduction of carbon dioxide to carbohydrate. This is very important topic from your exam point of view. Next one is stomata. Stomata also you have read in your junior classes. So what are stomata? The tiny pore-like structure or small pore-like structure present on the surface of the leaf are called stomata. Okay, so stomata are the pore-like structure present on the surface of the leaf. Now we'll see the functions of the stomata. What are different functions of stomata? Stomata has 2 main functions. First one is it exchanges the gases like carbon dioxide and oxygen. Okay, so the main function of stomata is exchange of gases like carbon dioxide and oxygen. Second one, it helps in transpiration. So what is transpiration? Loss of water. Okay, so these are the 2 main steps of stomata, exchange of gases, and second one is transpiration. Now we'll see what are guard cells. The cells which control the opening and closing of pores in the leaves. These contain chloroplast. Guard cells are those cells which control the closing and opening of the pores in the leaves. Means they control the closing and opening of stomatal pores in the leaves. They are present where? In the chloroplast. Next type of nutrition is heterotrophic nutrition. We have read about the autotrophic nutrition. In autotrophic nutrition, what we have read? Autotrophic nutrition is that nutrition in which an organism can make its own food. By the help of which process? Photosynthesis. Next one is our heterotrophic nutrition. In heterotrophic nutrition, an organism cannot make its own food. It depends on autotrophs directly or indirectly for their food. So what are the examples of heterotrophs? Animals, yes. Animals, they cannot make its own food. For example, lion, rabbit, tiger, they cannot make its own food. They used to depend on autotrophs or other animals for their food. Okay, so there are 3 types of heterotrophic nutrition. First one is holozoic nutrition. So what does this holozoic nutrition means? Animals take in solid food, break down take place inside the body. Means animal will take solid food and the breakdown of that solid food will take place inside their body. Example of holozoic nutrition is shown by amoeba. Next one is saprophytic nutrition. In saprophytic nutrition, what happens? Organism depend on dead and decaying matter for their food. Example, fungi. Means on the dead organism these saprotrophs depend. So this type of nutrition is called saprophytic nutrition. Next one is parasitic nutrition. Parasites live inside or outside other organism called host and obtain their nutrition from it. Means parasitic nutrition is that nutrition in which an organism depend on other organism for their food. Means they live inside the other organism for their food. Example, cuscuta, ticks, lice, tapeworms, etc. Okay, these organisms depend on other organism for their food. Next, we'll see how does amoeba obtain its nutrition. How do organisms obtain their food? So in this, we'll read about amoeba and paramecium. In unicellular or single cell organism, unicellular means uni means one. The unicellular organisms are those organisms which are made up of one cell. The food is taken up by the entire surface. Example, amoeba and paramecium. In amoeba we have read which type of nutrition? Holozoic nutrition, correct? So now let's have a quick look on the process of intake of food in amoeba. What does this amoeba do? This is our amoeba. Suppose this is our food particle. So what does this amoeba will do? In the center, nucleus is present inside the amoeba. This amoeba will extend its feet known as pseudopodia, and it will capture the food inside the pseudopodia, and they will form a food vacuole. Inside the food vacuole, digestion of food will take place, and after the digestion, food is absorbed in their body, and the undigested food or the waste material is thrown out of the body. Okay, now we'll have a recap of this process through a flowchart. Amoeba with the help of pseudopodia. Pseudopodia means false feet. They will take up the food, capture the food. Okay. After that, they will form a food vacuole. Inside the food vacuole, digestion of food will take place, and diffusion of simple substances in the cytoplasm will also take place. After that, what will happen? Undigested food is thrown out of the body, which is not used by amoeba. So this is the process of digestion in amoeba. So which type of nutrition takes place in amoeba? Holozoic nutrition. You have to remember that. Next, we'll read for process of intake of food in paramecium. It is also a unicellular organism. The cell has a definite shape and food is taken in it at a specific spot. Food is moved to the spot by the movement of cilia which cover the entire surface of the cell. What happens in a paramecium? They also take the entire food or the solid food inside their body. After that, the food is moved through their body by the help of cilia, and the food is absorbed through its entire surface. Okay, so in paramecium what happens? It is also a unicellular organism. Food is taken up by the body and it is reached or moved to a specific spot with the help of hair-like projection called cilia, and then the food is absorbed by the body and the undigested food is thrown out of the body. Next, we have nutrition in human beings. This is a very important topic from in this chapter. Nutrition in human being means about our body will read in this topic. The alimentary canal is a basic long tube extended from the mouth to the anus. Okay, so what does this alimentary canal means? Alimentary canal is a tube which extends from mouth to the anus. Various regions are specialized to perform different functions. Okay, so this is the diagram of human digestive system. Very important. In your exam, you can get the question, draw the human digestive system and explain the digestion in human beings. 5 marks question you can get from this topic. So it is very important. So let's have a quick look on this diagram. So this is the mouth. In this, tongue is present. Okay, this tube-like structure is called the esophagus. Food is moved through this esophagus and it enters into the stomach. After the stomach, the food goes into the small intestine. Then in the small intestine, digestion of food takes place. And again, the undigested food is sent into the large intestine. In the large intestine, water is absorbed from the food and the undigested food or the waste material is thrown out of the body through the anus. Next, this structure is called the appendix. Pancreas are present over here. This is the liver. Bile ducts are present in the liver. Gallbladder we have. Diaphragm we have. This is the structure of your human digestive system. Okay, now we'll read about the human digestive system in detail. The different steps of nutrition in human beings are. So what are the different steps of nutrition in human being? Now, first step is ingestion. Ingestion means taking in of food. Next one is digestion, means food is broken down into small pieces. Next is absorption. In absorption, the food materials are absorbed by the body. Next is assimilation, and the last one is egestion. Egestion means waste material is thrown out of the body. First, the digestion of the food or the nutrition in human beings starts from the mouth. The digestion begins from the mouth. Food is broken down into small pieces in the mouth by chewing with the help of salivary amylase enzyme present in saliva. We all know that we take in the food in our body with the help of mouth, and in the mouth the food is broken down into small pieces with the help of what? With the help of our teeth, and the tongue helps to mix the food. And in the mouth, what is present? Saliva. And saliva contains which enzyme? Salivary amylase enzyme. This enzyme helps the food to broke down into small pieces. So you have to remember, saliva contains which enzyme? Salivary amylase enzyme. And what is the function of this enzyme? It helps to break down the food into small pieces. Next is esophagus. In esophagus, what happens? The broken down food pieces travel down the esophagus to the stomach. Means from the mouth, the food travels to the stomach through the esophagus. By which movement? By peristaltic movement. Okay, by peristaltic movement, the food moves from the mouth to the stomach through esophagus. Next is stomach. In stomach, what happens? The stomach contains gastric juices. Okay, so what is the function of gastric juices? They break down the food particles into smaller molecules. Okay, gastric juices help to break down the food into smaller molecules. So gastric juices also contains pepsin, hydrochloric acid and mucus. Now let's see, what does this pepsin do, what does this hydrochloric acid do, and what does this mucus do. Pepsins break down proteins. Okay, they help to break down the proteins. Hydrochloric acid makes the medium acidic. Since it is an acid, so it makes the medium acidic. Next one is mucus. Mucus, what does this mucus do? It protects the inner lining of the stomach. So these different gastric juices have different types of functions. You have to remember the function of each and every gastric juices. Next is our small intestine. In small intestine, we know that complete digestion of food takes place in small intestine. For 1 marks question you can get, where does complete digestion of food take place in human being? So what you'll write? Small intestine. It is the site of complete digestion of carbohydrates, proteins and fats. Okay, all carbohydrate, proteins and fats are digested in small intestine. So what are the different activities which go inside the small intestines? Wall of small intestine secretes intestinal enzymes. So what does the walls of small intestine secretes? Intestinal enzymes, which converts the carbohydrates into glucose, fats into fatty acids, and glycerol into proteins and amino acids. Okay, so this intestinal enzyme will convert carbohydrates into glucose, fats into fatty acids, and glycerol into proteins and amino acids. Next, what happens? It has villi. What are villi? Villi are finger-like projections which helps in absorption of food into the blood. They help to absorb the food into the blood. Next one, it receives the secretion of liver and pancreas. Okay, so what does this liver secrete? It secrete bile juice, and pancreas secrete pancreatic juices. So the small intestine also receives the secretion of liver and pancreas. Next, the food is acidic, which is made alkaline for the pancreatic enzymes to act. Okay, the food is acidic inside the small intestine. So the pancreatic enzyme cannot act on that. So now the food is made alkaline. The pancreas secrete pancreatic juice, which contains enzyme like trypsin for digesting proteins and lipase for breaking down emulsified fat. So what is the function of this pancreatic juice? It contains enzyme. Pancreatic juice contain enzymes which contain trypsin, which helps for digestion of proteins, and also lipase. Lipase is also enzyme which breaks down emulsified fats. Next, fats are present in the intestine in the form of large globules, which makes it difficult for enzymes to act on them. Means fats which are present inside the small intestine are very large in size. So enzymes cannot act on them. So what happened? Bile salts break down into smaller globules, which increases the efficiency of enzyme action. The bile juice or the bile salts, they help to break down the fat molecules into smaller pieces so that the enzymes can act upon it. Now, large intestine. Okay, we all have read that in small intestine, the complete digestion of food takes place. Now, what happens in the large intestine? Water is absorbed from the remaining food in the large intestine. The food which is remained, which is left after the digestion in the small intestine, it goes into the large intestine. There, water is absorbed from the food, and the rest of the waste material or the undigested food is removed from the body through the anus. So this is our digestion or digestion in human beings. So Through this diagram, once again we'll recap the digestion process in human beings. Through the mouth we take in the food, and in the food, through in the mouth, salivary amylase is present, which break down the food into smaller pieces. Next, through the esophagus, the food goes into the stomach. By which movement? Peristaltic movement. After the stomach, the food goes into the small intestine. In the small intestine, complete digestion of food takes place. After the small intestine, it goes into the large intestine. In the large intestine, what is absorbed from the undigested food, and the waste material is thrown out of the body through the anus. So this is the digestion process in human beings. Our next topic is respiration. What do we understand by respiration? The process in which glucose is broken down with the help of oxygen and energy is released along with the production of carbon dioxide and water is called respiration. What happens in respiration? Glucose is broken down with the help of oxygen, and in this process what happens? Energy is released along with carbon dioxide and water. When glucose is broken down in the presence of oxygen, energy, carbon dioxide and water is released. This process is called respiration. Respiration in human being involves gaseous exchange. This is called breathing. Intake of oxygen from the atmosphere and release of which gas? Carbon dioxide. What do we do in breathing? We take in oxygen from the atmosphere and release which gas? Carbon dioxide gas. Cellular respiration means the respiration which takes place inside the cell. What happens there? Breakdown of small food to release energy inside the cell. Means what inside the cell what happens? The food particles are break down into small pieces, and what is released? Energy is released inside the cell. Now we'll read the breakdown of glucose by various pathways. There are different types of pathways by which breakdown of glucose takes place. The first step is the breakdown of glucose. Glucose is a 6 carbon molecule. What is the formula of glucose? C6H12O6, means 6 carbon atoms are present. Glucose is a 6 carbon molecule into a 3 carbon molecule called pyruvate, which takes place in the cytoplasm. Means in the cytoplasm what happens? Breakdown of glucose into pyruvate takes place. Pyruvate is a 3 carbon molecule. Next step, the pyruvate may be converted into ethanol and carbon dioxide, which take place in yeast during fermentation. Okay, this pyruvate, which is formed from glucose, can be converted into ethanol and carbon dioxide, ethanol C2H5OH and carbon dioxide CO2. This process takes place in yeast during fermentation. This process takes place in the absence of air or oxygen. It is called anaerobic respiration. Okay, so what is anaerobic respiration? The respiration which takes place in the absence of air or oxygen is called anaerobic respiration. Okay. Next one. The 3 carbon pyruvate molecule breaks in the presence of oxygen to give 3 molecules of carbon dioxide and water. If the breakdown of pyruvate molecule will take place in the presence of oxygen, what we will get? 3 molecules of carbon dioxide and water. This process takes place in mitochondria. Where does this process take place? In mitochondria. Since this process takes place in the presence of air or oxygen, it is called aerobic respiration. So what is aerobic respiration? The respiration which takes place in the presence of oxygen is called aerobic respiration. The pyruvate is converted into lactic acid when there is a lack of oxygen in our muscle cells, which is also a 3 carbon molecule. This buildup of lactic acid in our muscles during certain activity causes cramps. So how does this lactic acid is formed in our body? When there is lack of oxygen in our body. Sometimes a question is asked, when does this lactic acid produce in our body? So what you will write for that? When there is lack of oxygen in our muscle cells, lactic acid is produced in our body. The pyruvate can be converted into lactic acid when there is lack of oxygen in our muscle cells. This is also a 3 carbon molecule. The buildup of, if lactic acid is produced in our body or in our muscles, what happens? We get cramps or pains. Okay. So these are the different pathways of breakdown of glucose. Now we'll see the process of breakdown of glucose through a flow diagram. Okay, suppose this is our glucose, 6 carbon molecule. So what is the formula of glucose? C6H12O6. 6 carbon molecule. In cytoplasm, what happens? In cytoplasm, breakdown of glucose takes place and it breaks into pyruvate. It is a 3 carbon molecule and it also releases energy. It breaks into pyruvate and release energy. Again, this pyruvate can take 3 different steps. It can break to form different types of substances through three different pathways it can follow. In the first pathway, what happens? Pyruvate, in the absence of oxygen, it breaks into ethanol, carbon dioxide and energy. If absence of oxygen means no oxygen is present, this process will take place in yeast. During fermentation, we can observe this process. It will break into ethanol, carbon dioxide and energy. Lack of oxygen in our muscle cells. If in our muscle cells there is lack of oxygen, no oxygen is present, then pyruvate will change into lactic acid and energy. And if pyruvate will break into carbon dioxide, water, energy, this process will take place in the presence of oxygen and it will take place in mitochondria. So what are the different process? Carbon dioxide, water and energy. This is a very important flow diagram, breakdown of glucose by various pathways. This question can come in your exam. Okay, so you have to remember this diagram, and also you have to remember the products formed in different pathways. For example, a question can be asked, in where does the breakdown of pyruvate into lactic acid takes place? So you have to write in the muscles. Where does the breakdown of glucose into pyruvate takes place? So you have to write in cytoplasm. Where does the breakdown of pyruvate into carbon dioxide, water and energy takes place? You have to write mitochondria. Like this, you have to remember this complete pathway. The energy released during cellular respiration is immediately used to synthesize a molecule called ATP. What is the full form of ATP? Adenosine triphosphate. You have to remember this one, adenosine triphosphate, which is used to fuel all other activities in the cell. In these processes, ATP is broken down broken down, giving rise to a fixed amount of energy which can drive the endothermic reaction taking place in the cell. So what happens during cellular respiration? ATP is released. Okay, ATP is used as a fuel for other activities also which takes place inside the cell. Again, ATP is broken down to release large amount of energy which will carry out the endothermic reaction. Endothermic reactions are those reactions in which energy is absorbed. Okay, the rate of breathing in aquatic organism is much faster than that seen in terrestrial organism. What does this statement say? That in aquatic organism the rate of breathing is higher as compared to terrestrial organism. Why? Because the amount of dissolved oxygen is fairly low compared to the amount of oxygen in the air. Aquatic organism, they take in oxygen from the oxygen which is present in the water. But terrestrial organism, what do? They used to take the oxygen present in the atmosphere. So the rate of breathing in aquatic organism is much faster because they take the amount of dissolved oxygen which is present in the water. Now we'll see the difference of aerobic and anaerobic or respiration. This is a very important question. Questions can be asked. Write the difference between aerobic and anaerobic respiration. The first point is it takes place in the presence of oxygen. You have to write aerobic respiration will take place in the presence of oxygen. Anaerobic respiration will take place in the absence of oxygen. Aerobic respiration, it occurs in mitochondria, and anaerobic respiration occurs in cytoplasm. End products of aerobic respirations are carbon dioxide and water. End products are alcohol or lactic acid. More amount of energy is released in aerobic respiration, approximately 38 ATP, and in anaerobic respiration less amount of energy is released, 2 ATP only. Aerobic respiration will take place in human beings and plants, and anaerobic respiration will take place in yeast and bacteria. These are the important differences between aerobic and anaerobic respiration. You can write these differences and you can get nice marks in your exams. Plants give out carbon dioxide during night because photosynthesis is not taking place due to absence of sunlight. Therefore, we should walk near the trees early in the morning so as to get oxygen and not during the night. So sometimes questions are asked, or in general somebody will ask you why we should not sleep under the tree during the night. Why? Because during the night photosynthesis does not take place in plant. What they will do? They will release carbon dioxide, which is not good for our health. But during the daytime photosynthesis will take place and they will release which gas? Oxygen gas. So we should walk near the trees in the morning, not during the night. Aquatic animals take up oxygen dissolved in water. If water is polluted, then the dissolved oxygen in water becomes less and survival of aquatic animals becomes difficult. Aquatic plants and animals, they live in water. They take the oxygen which is dissolved in water. If that water is polluted, what happens? Oxygen in the water will be deficient, will be less, and the survival of aquatic organism is very difficult at that time. So student, in this video we'll cover these topics only. Rest of the topics we will cover in the next video, in the part 2 of the same chapter.